Welcome to the channel. My name is Robert, and I've been in the creative field for over 20 years. My wife is a producer, and together we have our own production business that we've been running for almost 15 years. We're originally from Southern California, but right before COVID hit, we moved to Charleston, South Carolina. And we've been here for 5 years now, and it's been really good for our business. I plan on putting out a video about what it's like to move your business across the country in more detail. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. As I mentioned, I've been in the creative industry for a long time, and throughout that time, I've gained a lot of valuable experience across a wide area. Everything from working for and with advertising and marketing agencies to what our business is built on now, which is full service production. So I know a thing or two about what works and what doesn't. And here on the channel, I share my unique perspective that I've gained over the years and cover all things related to commercial photography and video production. So expect to get a raw, behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to run your own production business. This video here is a wrap-up video from last week's episode, so if you haven't seen it, go back and check that one out. In that video, I show my approach to packing minimal gear for this travel job. As I often mention, my wife is a producer, and for these projects, she handles all of the pre-production work, which I think is the unsung hero of any successful job in production. She works closely with the client to help develop shot lists. She coordinates with the team at the home office and also schedules everything that we might need from the on-site staff. Even though these jobs are pretty grueling in terms of the volume of what we need to capture in a short time, all of her hard work on the front end allows for a much smoother and manageable day for when Aaron and I arrive on site. Most times, these jobs don't require interviews or audio capture, but this time around, the client wanted to get some client testimonials and a few corporate talking heads. I talked about this in last week's video, but I pretty much packed the least amount of gear possible. I just used a simple one light setup. So first up, once I arrive, was to find a quiet and halfway decent location. I ended up shooting in a small library. It didn't have a ton of depth to the space, but it was better than any other option that we had. These are just standard talking head videos that this client finds a lot of value in. And more than anything, they care about what the person is actually saying. So there's no need for me to overcomplicate what they are by bringing more gear than what's needed. This works out well for me since it allows me to travel light and be able to set up and tear down quickly, but still come away with a great look. Maybe halfway through building up my FX30 here, I just abandoned the whole setup. Over the years, I've grown to hate building up small cameras to make them function a little bit better. And it's really nice just being able to grab a camera as is and get right to work. I'm tired of screwing things on, bolting on accessories, and running various cables, all while wondering whether or not I forgot something and then stressing about where I put the multi-tool that I need to put it all together. So for this job, I just used the camera bare in a cage and ran it off of a 99-watt V-mount battery. It's important to know your client and their expectations. This particular client isn't well-versed in production at all, and they only care about the final look and the quality of the deliverables. This works out great for me since I can travel light and use the least amount of gear possible to get a nice look. And it's all about efficiency here. It's got nothing to do with laziness or not putting forth my best effort. Some clients like to see a big setup and the whole Hollywood-style dog and pony show. And in this case, it made my life quite a bit easier. Traveling with less gear means it's less to set up and tear down and ultimately saves me time. Aside from that, our shot list was pretty extensive, so I couldn't spend too much time on the talking head portion of this job, since we basically got 2 days of coverage in a single day. A good thing to ask new clients is if they've done video work before, and if they have, ask them what wasn't working or what they didn't like about the process or the final results that they were getting. This not only shows that you're genuinely interested in understanding their needs, but it's a great way to gain insight into how you can improve upon what they've already done in the past. These jobs are an absolute grind, and oftentimes we don't have the opportunity to break for lunch. And since I have the metabolism of a teenager, I'm basically always hungry. It's kind of silly, but here are a few things that kept me alive and kept me going. I thought I'd mention it in case some of you might find it helpful for your next 12-hour day. As I mentioned, this client isn't well versed in production, which is great for me since they don't care about the optics of what gear I'm using on set, they just care about the final result. Since I was shooting some interviews, I decided to take this small and light travel tripod that I've had forever, and while it looks a little goofy, it definitely got the job done. I could have easily just used my monopod instead of this lightweight tripod, and next time around, I think I'll leave the tripod home and save the additional 3 pounds and space in my bag. Whenever I shoot interviews, I like to keep notes of all of the lighting and camera settings. It's a good reference for me that I can always look back on if I need it. It's particularly tricky when you're working in mixed lighting environments like this one, so I thought I'd list those numbers here in case you find it helpful. Aaron's been traveling with a recently released Sony lens, so I asked him about it, and here's what he had to say.
Back in April, Sony announced the release of their newest G Master lens, the 50-150 telephoto lens with, get this, a constant aperture of f2.0 through that entire range. And believe me when I say that I've never pre-ordered a lens as quickly as I did this one. Despite the hefty price tag of $4,000, despite the fact that I already had the 70-200 in my kit, I just knew that this lens was going to stay on my camera body as much as possible. And that has definitely come to pass. It's really kind of become one of my biggest workhorses, and it speeds up my workflow. The ability for me to have this lens on my camera body throughout an entire headshot session in my studio. I can shoot full-length portraits, I can shoot close-up, I can shoot shallow depth of field, I can stop it down and do some really lovely lit portraits, and I never have to change lenses, which is just amazing. And then when I take it out into the field with my buddy Robert to these gigs that we do, it is instrumental in capturing some really lovely candids in all sorts of sub-prime lighting conditions. We're working inside, we're working outside, and it really is just kind of a run and gun type situation where we have to adapt to many, many different lighting scenarios and setups at one time. And to be able to have one lens that does all of that is just fabulous.
One of my favorite things about these jobs are all of the different people that we get to meet and interact with.